I'm Zainab Badawi and welcome to the King's Library and welcome to all our Nobel Laureates. I'll be talking to them about themselves and also the role of science in society today. Gentlemen, congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
I want to ask you now, all of you, tell me, honestly, are you quite satisfied about being in the limelight, scientists like this, Nobel time, occupying centre stage? Saul?
Well, if you've ever wondered what it was like to be famous, I can report that for 1 week, it's a lot of fun, but I'm just betting that for this group of people that we'll be really glad that it's only for 1 week. I don't think any of us would want to be Brad Pitt.
What about you, Bruce?
I'd have to agree exactly with Saul. It's a very new experience. It's not unpleasant, but probably I'd like to get some work done pretty soon.
Yeah, it's life in the fast lane. I've been given a driver named Stig, which is pretty entertaining, but I'll be happy to, I think, get off the road and get back to work.
For myself, I've been a bit uncomfortable, but I love the attention that it's brought to my colleagues and to my field of science.
Danny, I mean, are you enjoying it? Come on, you're not all shy, retiring scientists who just like to stay in your laboratories all the time. It's good for you to be like this in the spotlight.
Well, not all of us are shy, but I enjoy it very much. But the question is, okay, so now we have some powers we did not have before. The question is, what do you do with it? Now we have access to decision makers. At least I have access to decision makers. And the question is, will I use it properly? I try to.
Okay, well, we'll find out some more about that. Thomas, what do you think?
Well, I disagree with Saul. If I could look like Brad Pitt, I would enjoy it.
You've got a marvellous brain as well, but don't do yourself down.
I would trade everything.
Don't do yourself down, Thomas. Christopher, your fellow economist.
Well, I think that the access to decision makers is not such a big deal for us as economists, since our work has already influenced the people who are making decisions about economic policy. But winning the Nobel does give you a chance to be heard by ordinary people more in venues like this.
And that's a good thing, isn't it, Jules?
Well, I would say that I feel a little bit intimidated, more than comfortable. But I would say, like you, that I'm delighted that the fields on which we have worked and also the co-workers have been recognized by this prize. And I also feel a sense of responsibility, as you've said. So we'll see how it goes on.
Okay, Bruce, I mean, what does winning the prize mean to you, and are you enjoying the attention you're getting?
Well, sometimes we work in obscurity for a very long time. That can be fun. There are rewards, certainly, to doing so. We get great satisfaction out of our work, at least I do. But it's nice to be noticed and to have a day in the sun, if we can put it that way.
Tell me, Bruce, I mean, was it for you the ultimate goal to win the Nobel Prize when you started all your studies all those years ago? Did you think, because I mean, actually you started off as a medical doctor, you're a trained MD, and you've now won the prize for medicine physiology, but did you at any stage think, am I going to be working towards this goal of winning a Nobel Prize? I fancy that.
No, certainly it was never the goal. It's something that everyone has heard of since they were children. Every scientist may think about it in a casual kind of way, but nobody can count on it. And if you make it your goal, it's very likely you'll be disappointed. And I never made it my goal, absolutely not.
Who, at the back of their mind, when they were doing all that research, thought, I think I'd quite like to win the Nobel Prize?
There's a difference between liking to win it and
or
planning.
Aiming. Okay, well, you tell me, you all wanted to win it then? You all liked it, but were you aiming for it at any time, any of you?
No. I didn't even dream about it.
Yeah.
Really?
No. It just wasn't on the radar for me.
And in fact, when you were awarded it, Brian, and you had a phone call at dawn in Australia, because although you're American...
Yeah, it was actually at night. So.
At night. You're American, but you've lived in Australia for the last 17 years where you've been working. You thought it was one of your students having a prank.
Well, that was my first guess, yeah. Seems like something they might do to me.
It's a total disbelief.
Yeah, it was kind of wonderment, I guess, and when you kind of sunk in, you know, the knees went weak, kind of felt sick, and then I kind of had to sit down and then walk around a little bit to come to equilibrium with it.
I was going to say, I think that the prize is often awarded for, at least in some of these fields, for a surprise. And of course, nobody plans to have a surprise. So you're very lucky when something you're working on that was on a very exciting topic that you were really enjoying working on turns out to give you something even better, a surprise that you can then, they then start thinking about as a prize. But it's not what you were designing your experiment around.
I sort of viewed the Nobel Prize sort of like the Supreme Court ruling on your work. And at some point, this is the highest level of credibility. And so I felt very good about the prize for the work for that reason, that I thought, wow, I guess this was right.
What about wanting to become a scientist? I mean, Chris, let me ask you, because actually you're an economist, which is a social science, not a natural science like the rest of the chaps here. Did you always set out saying I wanted to be an economist because you're very, very good at mathematics? Wasn't that something you wanted to do first?
Yes, when I was in high school and through most of my college years, I was thinking I would probably end up a mathematician. But I began to have cold feet in my last couple of years of college, thinking that I didn't want to be dealing with pure abstraction for the whole rest of my life.
Thomas, you, if I'm right, wanted to be a politician, didn't you, at the beginning when you were thinking about what you might want to do, and then your mother talked you out of it and thought it wasn't a respectable enough profession?
Yeah, she told me I was unlikely to win any elections. But,
so where do you get your eureka moment? Aha, I've discovered this groundbreaking theory.
The shower.
The shower, Adam.
Yeah.
Adam, the shower for you too, Saul?
That works for me too.
Shower for you too, Brian.
And in my vineyard, place where you can forget about everything else and just think.
Oh yeah, because you make wine, don't you?
But
So
no, I don't drink the wine.
You don't drink the wine, you just make it.
Doesn't work so
So
well.
your vineyard and your shower,
Yeah.
Brian.
I would say hiking.
You would say hiking,
I'd
Jules.
say the same. I'd say exactly the same. Walking, hiking.
Yeah.
Hiking on the seashore by a lake.
Bruce, is that because nature inspires you in some way?
Maybe it's kind of relaxing anyway. It's a diversion, and walking and thinking just go well for me together.
Christopher Sims, where do you think?
I tend to walk around the house in circles.
Do you?
When I'm trying to write, I'll sit there and be unable to get any words out or unable to finish getting a model to solve, and so I'll get up and start pacing around.
But it must be a bit odd, though, just walking around the house. I mean, what do your family think?
I do it mostly when they're not around.
Thomas, do you think the same as Chris?
no, actually, so for me, it's actually when I'm with somebody, either a co-author or a student or at a seminar, where they're telling me something I thought was wrong, and that stuns me and gets me thinking.
You sort of spark off somebody. Saul Permotta?
I was just going to say that I think that there's also different kinds of thinking that you end up doing, and there's the quiet, contemplative part that we're mostly describing here, the part that you have to be completely lost in, you're just thinking in the background. But there's also, I think, at least a big fraction of what I do is with other people. That I'd say that it's the brainstorming with 2 or 3 people in a room and just bouncing ideas back and forth. That's where some of the best ideas come from.
Is it important to be amongst people, or is it better to just sort of be on your own, thinking individually? You're inspired by the presence of others, Brian?
You use both. So, when I have my own thoughts, it's in the shower and the vineyard. But if I want to then make progress, I need several people to bounce ideas.
Dan?
I get my best idea when I'm alone and there's no obstructions. The best idea I get when I look at a wall. That there's nothing there, just me and my thoughts.
I mean, we tend to think of science as something which is very certain, 5 + 5 = 10, and that's it. But you can actually never really be certain, can you?
You play the hand you're dealt, so I don't think we set out to say, let's turn everything upside down. We started doing observations and experiments, and we saw something crazy. Maybe the courage part is just to go ahead and announce it, because that itself could be wrong, and your colleagues are going to give you extra scrutiny. But I don't think we set out to overturn and have a revolution. It's just that's what your experiment told you.